você faria se tivesse um conhecimento capaz de mudar o mundo, mas que fosse proibido e colocasse sua vida em risco? O que fazer para este conhecimento não se perder no tempo depois de sua morte? Como disseminar esse conhecimento sem ser perseguido? A resposta é Sociedade Secreta. Conhecidos como Rosacruzes ou Rosacruz, o termo se refere a uma sociedade secreta bastante antiga. O vídeo que eu vou mostrar agora se trata de uma entrevista com uma presidente e grande mestre Rosacruz. Está em inglês, mas vou traduzir para vocês.
We got to go to the Rosacrucian Egyptian Museum in San Jose.
O apresentador aqui, ele conta que já foi ao Museu Rosacruz e viu muitas semelhanças com o que ele aprendia na igreja, só que não era realmente igual ao que ele aprendia. Quem seria melhor para explicar isso do que a presidente e grande mestre dos Rosacruzes, a Julie Scott. Julie, bem-vinda ao show. Obrigada. Julie, como poderíamos descrever a Ordem Rosa+Cruz para alguém que nunca ouviu falar disso? A Ordem Rosa+Cruz é uma organização educacional e filosófica. Não é uma religião. Membros de todo o planeta estudam as leis naturais e como viver em harmonia com elas. E o que são as leis naturais? São coisas como ciclos, ou entender os padrões de crescimento, ou entender como a natureza funciona. E assim podemos aplicar essas coisas em nossas vidas. As pessoas estão enganadas sobre aquilo que chamam de mistério ou místico, porque são coisas que parecem um pouco assustadoras ou incomuns, sendo que são apenas leis naturais que elas podem aplicar em suas vidas. No site, temos uma linha do tempo dos Rosacruzes. Me ajude a entender. Nela temos os Atlantes, sabedoria do Egito Antigo, astrologia, mistérios órficos, escola pitagórica, Eleusis, mistérios de Ísis, cabala, alquimia, mistérios mitraicos, hermeticismo, gnosticismo, neoplatonismo, templários e tradição de Sofia. Como fizeram para juntar tudo isso em um só ponto e criar o que temos hoje como Ordem Rosa+Cruz? Bem, estas são as tradições que vêm sendo perpetuadas através dos milênios, e começou há milhares de anos atrás com pessoas que tinham uma relação muito mais íntima com a natureza e entenderam ela de um jeito diferente do que fazemos hoje. E pessoas deram suas vidas para perpetuar essa sabedoria. Algumas vezes, essa tradição teve que ficar oculta para a proteção deles mesmos. E cada indivíduo que perpetuou essa sabedoria permitiu que outras pessoas posteriormente a conhecessem e que ela nunca se perdesse. Os Rosacruzes nunca definem Deus ou o divino. Ele é entendido como uma força que cresce dentro de cada um e com ela podemos nos conectar uns com os outros. Aqui temos o Parque Rosacruz, com símbolos de adoração ao Sol à esquerda e justiça à direita.
You'd face this at the end of your life in a tomb in ancient Egypt. So here we go into a Rosacrucian Park, which we began almost 80 years ago. This is the front of our
E a chave da imortalidade egípcia no topo.
center of Rosacrucian Park with our fountain of waters. This is the
E um templo ou câmara egípcia, rica em simbolismo do Antigo Egito. Aqui vemos o ponto de encontro. Vamos ver como é o Museu Rosacruz visitado pelo apresentador?
Well, this is modeled after the Temple of Amun at Karnak, and it's...
Mr. Armstrong. Oh, welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you with us.
Can I come in and see your collection?
Absolutely, please do.
The statue that you see behind me here is one of the rarest pieces in the museum collection. It's a statue of Cleopatra VII, the famous Cleopatra. And it's actually one of only 7 remaining statues of Cleopatra in the entire world. Here we have the mummified head of an Apis bull. Now the Apis bull was believed to be the living incarnation of the god Ptah and lived in the town of Memphis. And when one Apis bull died, he was mummified, just like a king would be in the form of a god, and the priests would search the country for the new Apis bull. When he was found, he would be brought to the palace to live as the new Apis bull. Behind me, we have 2 of the most beautiful coffins in the museum collection. They're from the Saite period in Egypt. Over here, we have the coffin of Usermantu, and beside him is the coffin of his first cousin, the lady Ta'awa Sherit. Both of them were from the very powerful Besenmut family in Thebes. And it's within the coffin of Usermantu that we found the museum's unwrapped Egyptian mummy. The mummy that you see before you is one of the 4 mummies we have on display here at the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum. Now, as you can see, this mummy has been completely unwrapped. However, we did not do this to him. He came to the museum this way. And as a result, we don't know his name, we're not sure of his occupation, and we can only guess about when he may have lived. Now, he arrived at the museum in the coffin of Usermantu. However, we believe that it is most probably not him.
Janae, can you explain to us what this is?
Yeah, the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum is also home to a full-scale replica rock-cut tomb. Now, in the late 1930s as well as the 1960s, the Rosicrucian Order sponsored a number of camera expeditions to Egypt in an area called Beni Hassan. Now, in Beni Hassan, you have a number of tombs of the nobles, and they photographed about 40 different tombs. Of those, 15 were in very good condition, so they took the most pictures of those 15, brought them back to the museum, and used those images to create the tomb that you see here.
Wow. Could I go in?
Absolutely. Follow me.
Oh, great. Wow. Okay, I'll go.
This is the offering chamber in our replica rock-cut tomb. Now, the primary purpose of the offering chamber was to provide a place where the family of the deceased could come to bring him food every day. In this way, the deceased would never, ever, ever have to worry about starving in the afterlife. Here we have a Serdab statue. Now, the primary purpose of the Serdab statue would be to provide a place where the deceased could look out and make sure that everyone was bringing him the proper amount of food so that he would be able to eat in the afterlife. And if you follow me down, here we can go down into the burial chamber. So we're now down in the burial chamber of our replica rock-cut tomb. And over here on this wall, you can see the images that our deceased has painted of all his future servants performing the tasks that he's going to have them assigned in the next life, so he won't have to do any work himself. And if you come over here on this wall, you can see our tomb owner performing one of his favorite sports, hunting. So he would take these birds in his hand, shake them until they make a bunch of noise, which would stir up the rest of these wild birds. Then he would take his hunting stick and throw it at him. And if he happened to knock one out of the sky, his hunting cat would go get it. Now, in the middle of this tomb, we have our sarcophagus. Now, this type of sarcophagus would have been reserved for the pharaoh, someone who would receive it as a gift from the pharaoh, or for the Apis bull. And as you can see, they're very large, and they wouldn't have been buried because they didn't think that tomb robbers would be able to get into them as easily. But as you can see, they've gotten in.
Stephen Armstrong is the curator of the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum. And Stephen Armstrong, Mr. Armstrong, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's been wonderful.
Well, we've enjoyed your visit very much. We're happy you were able to be with us.
Yeah. Mr. Armstrong, I see all these wonderful things which are relevant and significant with symbolism. How are the artifacts here relevant to your philosophy of life today?
Well, for me, to realize that people 5,000 years ago loved life, sought immortality, and enjoyed their families and friends, just as we do today, really gives me a sense of the commonality of humanity across all of time and space. And I think in particular, the yearning for transcendence, the yearning for spirituality is something that is so important to us today, especially as we're surrounded by technology, which of course makes so many wonderful things possible, and yet we must make sure that we don't lose the ideals that have been part of humanity from the very dawn of time, as evidenced here at our Rosacruzes Egyptian Museum.
What a wonderful way to put it. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, it's been a joy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today's subject is As Above, So Below. All that is above is a reflection of that which is below, and all that is below is a reflection of that which is above. This is the Hermetic axiom that derives from the Emerald Tablet. And as I'll get into in a moment, this draws on Hermeticism, which was a Greek and Egyptian philosophy about 2,000 years ago in Egypt. And this knowledge, this philosophy, has the great work. What is the great work? What does this mean? And where did it come from? The great work refers to self-transformation, self-change. And this term is thrown around in Rosacrucianism, Thelema, the Theosophical Society.
Aura humana
and sorors, the imperator of the Rosacrucian order, Mark. The beauties of nature are a
As
harmony of
construções da
vibrations,
natureza são uma harmonia de vibrações, cores, sentidos e formas geométricas.
and geometrical
As
forms.
cores são percebidas pela sua visão, por exemplo, o verde das árvores ou o azul do céu.
Much of the
Com isso,
phenomenon
podemos
of
ter uma
beauty
compreensão
is
das funções e
understandable.
manifestações da
It is
natureza.
no longer thought that colors are inherent in objects, that, for example, the trees are actually green or the sky blue as they seem. We now know in what manner we come to associate colors with the objects we perceive. In fact, our comprehension of how nature functions in certain realms heightens our enjoyment of her manifestations. So too, the human aura, the subject we are now to consider,
A aura humana
is
é o
neither
resultado das leis
mysterious
naturais e
nor is it of the
cósmicas.
supernatural. The aura is the result of cosmic and natural laws, as are all other phenomena which we experience. In a discussion of the human aura,
O corpo humano irradia energia como um campo magnético com propriedades similares à eletricidade, com polos positivo e negativo.
man's body,
Essa polaridade é resultado dos alimentos e das forças naturais.
we may liken
A aura
this
não tem
radiation
cor, mas
to an
produz cor. A
electromagnetic
frequência
field,
vibratória da aura
because of
está
its
longe da luz
characteristics
visível.
similar to electricity and similar to magnetism.